Hello viewers and welcome back to Civilization 5 Military Academy. Tonight with you are again Bibor and Matt Jin.
Hey everyone. Okay, so we got a game today. This is actually a slightly older game. We're trying to catch up here. From cdjflip. He says he's playing as Spain on a standard-sized Terra map on King, standard speed. He's got DLC, but no mods. He initially did an NC rush and got rid of Siam with longswords. Very nice. But after that, he just kept expanding. And once we get to see his map, you'll see that going to the New World, which since he's playing on a Terra map, was kind of not really useful. He sent over a lot of conquistadors to clean barbs and get goody huts, which is good. Expansion and scouting is very important in the game. He got into a war with Babylon along with Iroquois, but he really didn't get very far with it, and the Iroquois just gave up on his war, leaving him all alone against Babylon. So his core questions is how to effectively take large cities, so high population cities, and as well, he is having a problem with tactics for taking these cities. As you'll see in game, Babylon has extremely high defense for their cities in comparison to the unit types that he's using. So he is losing a lot more units than he is gaining cities, and it's extremely costly to fight that way. So he wants some help on deciding which social policies to go for domination victories, how to govern the large empire that he's actually got, as well as how to figure out how to actually make the domination victory happen. So that's it. So Bibor, you want to take us through what's going on?
Sure. As you said, he has quite a large empire. He conquered Siam. I don't know how old that conquest is, but he has a city burning down, so it might be recent. He has a large empire. His population is in his own cities is rather low. His largest city is Madrid with population 10, and his other cities are stuck at population 4, and he's already at turn 254, which is quite late in the game, and late game units are quite expensive hammer-wise, so he does need to grow these cities larger, which is basically one of his questions, how to grow cities with such a large empire. If we look at the tech tree, he's well into the industrial era already. He has railroad and steam power and biology, and he's currently researching rifling, and he's like 28 turns from getting to dynamite, which should help him in his war against Babylon, but we'll get back to it later, as well as being 14 turns away probably from replaceable parts. So generally speaking, his industrial era warmongering is going to kick in around 30 or even slightly more turns, realistically. He social policy wise, he invested into liberty, so he has 4 points in liberty, the right side of the tree, which deals with happiness and so on. And he invested heavily into patronage. He has 5 points in patronage. He's actually missing only 1 social policy from there, which would help him. And his next social policy will be in 6 turns. So he struggles a bit with social policies because he has such a large empire. He has 7 of his own cities. And let's see, production-wise and happiness-wise, he's slightly in the negative. But that's going to soon change when the city that he's currently burning down, the latest acquisition, Fitz Sudden Lock, It's causing him quite large trouble in that area. It's costing him 9 happiness just to burn the city down. And yeah, he has a few cities off the main continent. He has 2 cities on a larger island southwest of his empire. He has another city on the New World, Victoria, and another small island city which is going to grab a whale soon. So his empire is spread out. He has a lot of his own cities, and he's currently in a war with Babylon. His diplomatic situation doesn't look so good. He is friendly with Hiawatha, but Hiawatha is also wary of him because he refused the request. And Darius and Catherine are both guarded. Catherine is actually defeated. She has only 2 cities left, 2 probably ice cities. And Darius, who has a medium empire, but this is on king difficulty, so Darius's power isn't so great as it could be on higher difficulties with this number of cities. So yes, this is his situation. He's slightly ahead in military, but his core problem is that Babylon's city strength is way too high for his units to survive the bombardment from cities. And in general, his lands are not developed enough to support the kind of economy he will need in the industrial era.
No, exactly. By this point in the game, even for a larger empire, all of his cities could be actually a lot bigger. Now, if we take a look at, say, Santiago, I mean, looking through his cities, he does have a couple workshops being worked, so he's going to get some more great engineers coming. And it looks like, which city is it? Cordoba will actually be giving him a great engineer in 2 turns, which is a good thing. But otherwise, I mean, he's locked down a lot of the tiles, which is good. So he is managing his tiles quite effectively here. Though, given that he does not have the population really to support a large empire, even within the empire, it's kind of not set up very well. And even he's got an 11 pop former Siamese city, the Sukhothai, which should have a lot more trading posts around it, given that it is 11 population. All puppets should be 100% trading post. They'll manage their population via that, but since they're always on gold focus, they'll aim towards the trading post tiles before they try and pick up extra food tiles. That city does have 3 cows near it, but at least personally, I would just turn around and steal those 3 cows for the Sechenalali. Not even sure if I got that right. City, because it does have a stable and another horse, and since he annexed that city and has a courthouse in there, those tiles are actually much better used with a city that's been annexed rather than a puppet. So on the economic side, I mean, he's in a 22 turn golden age, which is nice, and so his gold output is fairly high, at least for the moment. He may actually lose out quite a bit after the golden age is over. So one of the things he really should look at, especially due to his trading routes, is getting all of these cities up to a minimum of 7 population. And why I say minimum of 7 population is he's got coliseums in pretty much all of the cities. He's got some circuses in a couple others, but given that he's in industrial age, he should absolutely have theaters in there as well. So that gives him a base of 7 population for cities with Colosseum and theater, and 9 population for cities that also have a circus. And he can definitely use the avoid growth button to make sure that they don't grow, as well as using what he's currently doing with manually selecting the tiles to work. So first off, I would definitely stop producing all of these tertios, especially knowing that they're all just walking to their death every time they move towards the Babylonian cities. And I think on that note, I would also take the time to make peace with Babylon for the moment, while he tries to fix up his empire. Your empire can't fight if you don't have the happiness to support it. So taking down these 13 pop cities, yes, they'll get chopped in half population-wise, but if they don't have happiness buildings already built in, you're not going to get very far. And the other thing to note is Babylon is in industrial era already, and that generally means that they're probably at artillery before you. So I would definitely stop the war so that you can build up an artillery army versus a melee-based army with all of these tertios. The army you have right now could easily run over the Persians with all the tertios and everything else, because all of their cities are down at 20 to 24 defense. But the problem with the Babylonians is that they have the Kremlin, which is boosting all of their city defenses to the point where it's just not possible to run in there with Renaissance era melee units and take them down without them already being blitz and march. And even then, it would be dangerous.
One of the problems of Babylon and building Kremlin, is that Babylon already has a high chance of building city defenses because his unique building is the walls of Babylon. So in the AI script, Babylon already has a high chance. As you can see in these cities, he has castles as well. And he was in many wars, and it's in his coding to build those buildings more often. So that's also one of the reasons why these cities have such a high defensive strength.
Yeah. Well, as well, Nebuchadnezzar went through tradition. So tradition and honor. And if he happened to pick up oligarchy with the new policy plan, oligarchy's going to give him an extra 100% ranged combat strength with those cities. So while it might be 55 there for city defense, the ranged attack is going to be dangerous. And long swords, crossbows, and tertios are just going to get destroyed really quickly.
Indeed, I mean, it's even possible that they will get one-shotted because even if it attacks at half the power of what is listed, it's still way higher than the strength of, let's say, a crossbow or even a longsword.
Yeah.
So it's quite
mech
possible
infantry
to, completely obliterate a crossbow in one shot.
Yeah, exactly. But also, I mean, another reason to stop and to rebuild is if you look at the economic overview, his trade route income is only 70 versus his road and railroads cost currently of 58. And that's directly related to only having 4 pop in cities. And being so spread out, he's got a lot of extra roads up there. I know it looks like he's got quite a few roads that are built up for the purpose of being able to move units around, which can be very useful. But it also looks like, because